personal files reveal past disciplinary action was taken against the Memphis officers. How shocking.
In the middle of all that icy weather in Memphis, the family of Tyre Nichols is preparing for his funeral this morning. Yesterday, alongside civil rights leader the Reverend Al Sharpton, they called for police reform. Nichols died last month, just days after he was brutally beaten by several police officers. And many of those officers now charged with murder have faced discipline, we're told, for previous actions on the job. Elise Preston is in Memphis with the latest on that part of the story. Elise, good morning to you. Tough day in Memphis today.
It is, Gail. Good morning. There's still so many things the family doesn't know, like what started this traffic stop and why it escalated. Yesterday, the city of Memphis announced it will likely be weeks before the full video and audio of the incident is released to the public.
Justice for Tyre. Justice for Tyre.
Tyre Nichols' parents were joined by the Reverend Al Sharpton yesterday in a plea for justice and answers.
But what were they enforcing? And an even better question, what did they stop him for?
It came amid revelations that 4 of the 5 former Memphis police officers facing murder charges for Nichols' death had previous reprimands and suspensions. Memphis police files obtained by CBS News show that 2 of the officers, Demetrius Haley and Desmond Mills Jr., both received written reprimands for separate incidents involving use of force. In 2021, Haley grabbed a female suspect.
How would they know who to put on the extra violent Scorpion unit if it wasn't for their track record? You know what I mean? I mean, how are they going to know who to put on the fucking brutal enforcement squad if you don't have a track record of brutal enforcement? That's so weird. I don't get it. This is literally, they were on our radar again, but it's cops this time. First of all, that radar is all sorts of busted, okay? It's the most busted radar of all time. Cops internally are actively avoiding this kind of thing. More than the top of the hour ad break avoiders. Internally, your record is either completely squashed or what? Guys, if we truly had a domestic violence provision for gun control, if that was a real thing, we would disarm the police single-handedly, okay? If we actually had a law enforcement community that like legitimately cared about domestic violence and tried to prevent it instead of contributing to it regularly, we literally, and then on top of that, we actually disarmed domestic abusers, like our government claims they want to do, we would just not have any cops have guns, okay?
Suspect by the arm after she allegedly resisted an arrest. He failed to file the required paperwork afterwards.
780 on that? That's
Mills
crazy.
Jr. received a similar admonishment after he took a woman to the ground as he arrested her back in 2019. He also never filed paperwork. Another one of the officers, Emmett Martin III, was suspended for 3 days after a gun was found in the backseat of his patrol car after his shift ended. And Justin Smith was suspended for 2 days for hitting another vehicle while in an unmarked cruiser.
Anyone with a suspension record like that.
Anytime you see a cop with a record, ask yourself, what have they done that isn't on their record? Okay, that's another thing. Because the difference between those being on the record and not is literally how well they filed the paperwork. Understand that. Like they didn't fuck up because they were like extra brutal in that regard and he like hit someone with his cruiser or whatever. It's just that he couldn't justify it in the paperwork, and that's why he had to get 3 days off.
Should certainly not have been on the force, certainly not on an elite force.
As Nichols' family mourns,
No justice! No peace!
the Memphis community has rallied to their side.
Everyone deserves to survive a traffic stop.
J. Lawrence Turner is the senior pastor at Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church, which will host Nichols' funeral today.
What is the legacy of Tyre Nichols?
I think this is going to be one of the defining moments of the contemporary civil rights movement, that his death will not be in vain.
Now, CBS News has learned that a 22-year-old man is planning to file suit against the city of Memphis and the police department. Montarius Harris says those same 5 former officers beat him up 3 days before the Tyre Nichols incident, involved.
Man, that's so crazy. It almost feels like this entire system is designed to do brutal enforcement and overlook all of the atrocious, horrifying things that cops do as a part of their everyday existence, and that it often goes unnoticed until it's not unnoticed when they fuck up and go a little too hard and actually end up killing someone. But even then, they actually don't think that they did anything wrong, as you saw on the fucking body camera footage, because the system itself requires cops to behave this way, trains them to behave this way, and shows them at every step of the way that there will be no real accountability for this kind of behavior. And that's why I always say that the brutal shit that you see, police brutality, as you understand it, as you see, as it gets portrayed in the media, is just the tip of the iceberg. Okay? That's it. That's the tip of the iceberg, man. It's not a bunch of bad apples. The entire bunch is rotten. It's spoiled. It's the apple basket that's fucking fundamentally full of worms. Okay? You only get to see some of the murders, even though there is more than 3 a day. You get to see some of the murders every couple of weeks when they're particularly gruesome, even though there are 3 a day. Do you understand? American police kill 3 civilians a day. That is unacceptable. It is literally higher than any other comparable Western nation, comparable developed nation. Okay? Significantly higher. The closest is Canada with 9 murdered per 10 million. Okay? At least 3 a day in America.
Involving another officer who is involved in the investigation. We have asked the department for comment. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris plans to lead a group of Biden administration officials at today's funeral. David?
Elise, everyone deserves to survive a traffic stop. What a quote. Thank you.
How are you holding up? What has this been like for you these last few weeks?
Well, for the most part, it's just been a real roller coaster ride. It's like a never-ending nightmare, and you know, we just try every day. Me and my family, and my sisters and my brothers, we just trying every day to just take one step each day.
What? You are remixing and matching your numbers? What is 3 a day in terms of the X 10 million in Canada? No, I gave you the per capita number, which is 9 per 10 million in Canada versus 33 per 10 million in America. Okay? 33 per 10 million is 3 a day. Okay? I'm giving you the per capita argument so you make no mistake that this is uniquely brutal, so you don't fucking get away with like not understanding.
So,
one step each day. What do you want people to know about him?
I mean, what the people don't know about him. I mean, my brother's legacy is everywhere right now. Everybody knows that my brother was an innocent person. Everybody knows that my brother was filled with energy. He was like the light of the room. You know, he cared about people. He put people before he put himself. Like, he was very selfless. He was just all around a great person to be.
How many aren't killed? Dude, that is insane. Can you imagine like looking at the Holocaust and being like, okay, 6 million Jews died, but how many didn't get murdered? Like, do you think that argument stays? That's why I compared it to murders happening, police murders happening in other countries. That is not a way that you compare police brutality. What the fuck? You really thought you had a good take, man. You really thought you were coming in here hot with that. You were like, I'm going to show him now. And to be fair, that is interesting. Like, that is uniquely stupid. You know what I mean? That is a uniquely stupid take.
be around. And, you know, it sucks that this happened to him, you know, like some people in this.
This is yet another instance. This is yet another instance of like people being so fucking weird and gross on the internet without realizing it, right? It's like if your fucking family member is murdered, right? Let's say your neighbor is killed. You don't go up to the family of the neighbor and go, well, people die every day. How many people did this serial killer not kill? Guess what? I'm very smart. What did you just do? You're not even like, you're just demonstrating your sociopathic tendencies, and it's not cool. It's weird and gross. Everybody understands it as such.
World, you just feel like that should never happen. It should never happen to anybody, but at the same time, it's like when you see a person like that and you know a person like that, it just takes a toll on you different, because he was really a people person. You know, he was a people pleaser, and yeah, like the world's gonna miss a person like that.
Yeah. I know that you've been very outspoken in what you believe should happen to these officers who are charged with murder. What do you think should happen?
Most definitely. I mean, I hope they meet the same fate as my brother. That's just how I feel.
Holy shit.
I mean, I don't know what the laws is in Tennessee or whatnot, but for me, I believe they deserve the death penalty.
God damn. That's on CNN, bro. That's a woo shit. Now, obviously, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. But goddamn, that's like crazy that he just said that on CNN. I've never heard a national news broadcast openly say that like cops deserve the death penalty.
What was your reaction when you saw that video?
That's the thing. I haven't watched it. But I already knew from looking at my brother, I already knew how they treated him, because I've seen it all over the world. I've seen it right here in California all the time. Police brutality is nothing new. And I already knew, as soon as I seen them photos from him in the hospital, I already knew that they treated my brother like an animal. They beat on him like he was nothing. I don't have to watch the video to know that. So, yeah.
You said on Facebook, you posted that basically saying that you were sorry that you weren't there to protect your brother. Are you feeling guilty about not being there?
Most definitely. Always, always. And I think I speak for all my siblings when I say that, because my brother, I'm 99% sure my brother has never gotten into a fight before, you know. And the one time he get into an altercation with other humans, we wasn't there to protect him. You know, as growing up as kids, you know, having an older brother or older sister and you get into an altercation, your older brother, your older sister will be there to help you. And on this night, what was it, January 7th, my brother was left alone. Because if I was there, they would have had to kill me too, because I would have fought all of them. My brother was trying to cooperate with them. I would have fought back with them.
Ben, let me bring you into the conversation, because you know there have been many developments. They seem to come every single day. There are 3 Memphis Fire Department personnel.
It might be worth to reiterate the leftist opinion on the death penalty. It is worth it, but I'm just not going to mention it. I mean, I'm anti-capital punishment. I am. I think it's ridiculous and unjustifiable, for the record. But, you know, time and place. I think it's fine to just let out your frustrations in this.